Noticing where you were guided to start this practice, noticing how the body is feeling. Take a moment to do a body scan. That body scan can give you a lot of information, and really acknowledge the parts of the body that are stiff, acknowledge the parts of the body that are giving you a little extra sensation. Acknowledge the parts of the body internally and externally. So you've got the internal workings of the body. Acknowledge and recognize how the breath is working for you. And if this practice is actually very challenging, because it can be very challenging. Notice where you place your hands. Notice if you chose one of these mudras. I'm going back to the Gyan mudra, which is the thumb and pointer finger together. And notice if you can breathe in. So inhale and hold the breath at the top of the breath, and then exhale all the way out. And so that you're really practicing this. Hold the breath and exhale. Now, there's so many different ways to increase the power of this meditation. And we know that it's imagination. It's that pineal gland. It's the third eye that you breathe gratitude through the heart. Gratitude, appreciation, caring, and compassion are the four most powerful emotions that have been discovered through research on what changes the electromagnetic field of the heart most in a human as we bring these thoughts into our consciousness, and how it actually enhances that electromagnetic field of the heart when we connect the heart and the brain, because that visioning gland is in the center of the brain. And we have been taught all the way through the 20th century and before that the brain and the rest of the body are separate and everything's just coming from the brain. Well, the brain has to be trained, and it does hold a lot of neural pathways, but there's neural pathways in the heart. And so what we're doing, and there's neural pathways in the gut. And so we have three brains that are recognized at this point. So inhale gratitude through the heart, fill the heart with gratitude, or choose one thing. And then take yourself in your mind's eye to some place that feels comfortable and safe, and just you feel totally embraced by this place. And for me, I often tell you that it's in nature. I usually take myself to sand on a beach, on a lake or the ocean, or I take myself to a waterfall. And if I can't find anywhere else, I go to places right around my house that have water. And it would be for me the Willamette River in Corvallis. So breathing gratitude through the heart, knowing that you can always go back to gratitude in the most darkest of times inside yourself. When you have that darkness and when you have it come in, when you have the disruption of the planet come into your heart right now, when you're holding the earth and all that it needs to shift, and when you're holding humanity, you can be a space holder, and that is enough. And if you can hold it in your heart with gratitude for all that we are, all that we have, and that we are all one humanity, and recognize the oneness inside of you, you can heal the world one heart at a time, and the first heart to heal is yourself. So you can find those places in your heart, and you don't seek for love. You seek for all the barriers to love, which is a Rumi quote that comes forward to me all the time. You seek the barriers to the open heart. And they can come in a lot of different intricate forms within the consciousness, the hidden forms. So just in itself, this practice, based in science, really based in spirituality and holistic understandings, so physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, and relational, the whole self, has a shamanic edge to it. The people that have studied this are, some of the wisdom keepers. In our age group, I like to remind you of your collected wisdom. And in your own world of your own life, you are a wisdom keeper. And then there's wisdom keepers for tribes or for groups of people. And there's usually some sort of ability to vision. So first, in this place that's so comfortable, so safe, imagine this as the whole planet. This is the new earth. Imagine all people. See if in your space there's any people, animals. When I put myself in Hawaii, I see, all the fish and all the ocean wildlife that's, so present around the islands. And then if you have a personal experience, like a snorkeling experience or a whale watching experience, you become even closer to them. And we have them in our own backyards with the birds. And we have, some people have the deer and the raccoons and the coyote and the skunks and the rabbits and the frogs and the snakes and the insects. We have the animal kingdom with us all the time. Breathe in that animal kingdom. And just within that animal kingdom, do you have some kind of special relationship with any one animal? And bring that animal to your mind's eye. And just see if you could ask if you have any questions that you'd like to ask. If you've got anything that you need an answer for, or you'd like support for. And see what animal comes forward for that. And then ask that animal or that question, or ask for that support. And see if your imagination piece, that place in your visioning, can actually create that vision for you, and that animal can actually speak to you in one way or another. Then you can ask that animal also, are you my spirit animal or power animal? And you can see if that animal will show itself in all four directions. Can you see it from the side or from all around it, above, below, two sides, four sides, any four directions solidifies it as your partner in life. I always think of Clan of the Cave Bear and how they had these animals that were always with them. They were attached to them. So there's lots of shamanic literature out there, both in novel form and in sort of guidance form. Breathing gratitude through the heart for the vision you're having, and see if there's anything you'd like to write down. If you've got something on a pad, or if you've got a pad and a pencil nearby, or if you can just seal the memory of this in your consciousness, and then when we come back at 12, perhaps you'll feel like sharing it. So hold on to that animal as we go through this practice. Then bring the fingertips together and the thumbs to the heart. And remember the science, the truth of physics, the new science, the new physics, the new understanding, and that you've been learning. And if you haven't actually studied it, you might consider the study of it. And you are light, so light up yourself. Light yourself up with the rainbow, which turns into white light. That white light shimmers outside your skin, and we have the technology to be able to measure that light. You know, we have photography that can show the different colors in our aura, in our energy field outside our body, that is often called the aura in energy medicine. Then take the thumbs to the third eye. Take a breath. Notice that I sighed. The sighing is also always just making, kind of releasing energy. You might find you have a lot of energy built up in your body that's actually causing different parts of the body to feel the way they do. And it can always come from fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. There's lots of acronyms for that word. Then tap the top of your head and remember this violet flame that comes out the crown. From the heart, though, it's almost like you could have this fire in the heart of the threefold flame in the heart is the power of 3, which is a very shamanic number in a lot of cultures. And then bring that power of 3 up through the voice, or the fifth chakra, the sixth chakra, the third eye, imagination, inspiration, intuition, and integration. And up, and allow yourself to expand to the understanding of oneness with the galaxy, and oneness with the universe. Oneness, and how you travel through a variety of forms, and you work with what's going on in the energy of the planets. We're not separate, and we are affected by the planets and the sun and the placement of the earth in the galaxy, and et cetera, et cetera. And astrology is a truth. Then bring the hands back to the heart, and namaste is this ancient shamanic practice that is, that translates directly as I honor you, but the you is also me. So I honor myself first. I honor that I've taken time out to do this practice. I honor this understanding of this ancient shamanic practice that is a body-centered practice. Others you might be familiar with, Qigong and Tai Chi, are all really practiced worldwide, and there's many, many more. And dance is a body-centered practice, and there's hundreds of ways out there of body-centered dance that has emerged in the last 35, 40, 50 years that is for our transformation. Then take a deep breath in for your own transformation, holding on to whoever and whatever is your animal, plant. It could be a plant. I didn't really say that, but it could be any being. I have my trees, and then lengthen out the legs if they're not lengthened out. I have my trees that are the trees I always go to for different reasons. Trees that make me feel extra alive. And I've got my animals that are they're kind of always with me. I can call on them anytime. And then when you study their properties and what they specialize in through the world of unraveling the history of the use of animal energy or animal archetypes, then you can hold on to that when you're with them. And we've studied that we've done a lot of that work that's in some of the videos that are on YouTube, like the swans, when the swans were here. Then if you're not down on the floor, bring yourself down to the floor and pull the knees into the chest. And roll the knees in a circle. Breathing and roll into the other direction. And lower back, my lower back, I know the cause of it. It's for me, it's this journey that I'm going to go on will help me get out of my own space and just not feel my body contracting in my own space. I need something new to help my vision expand. So playing with those legs a little bit, pulling one knee in, opening them up. It's kind of rocking with moving the knees around. You might try this and getting that pelvis just a little bit more flexible, a little bit more movable. Then lengthen out the legs, reach the arms above your head and stretch from the heels of the hands to the heels of the feet. Always a good one to do, and feel the body. And then relax. Feet flat on the floor while you relax the arms wherever they're feeling best. I know some of you have some shoulder issues, so the elbows can be bent or arms above your head. On Wednesday, we worked with head and shoulders and neck and shoulders, Drop the knees side to side, all just getting that pelvis loose. Again, you can do this on a bed. If you have a kind of wide couch, or you can take the back cushions off, you can do it on a couch. You can do this on a picnic table if you're out and about and you want to lie down. And if the picnic table is clean enough, you can lie down on a picnic table. After the rainy season here, all the picnic tables are pretty clean. Then drop the knees to one side and turn the head opposite. And again, you're discovering, well, what do I need right now? Now, when I can feel the tightness in my body in any one place, I have to decide, is it better to make it, to make me feel it more? And making me feel it more would be feet on top of each other, bottom leg comes on top, knee down twist, bringing that right knee over the left, turning my pelvis a little further. But if I want to just have it relaxed, I'm just going to keep my feet apart. And if I want it even more relaxed, I hope you have blocks by now or cushions that you use. I'm going to put a block between my knees. And I'm also feeling like, wow, it would feel really good to put a block right there supporting my back. This is all based in restorative yoga. And what restorative yoga teaches us is that when you put the body into a relaxed position, and they usually say at least 5 breaths. So find 5 breaths today. We're going to move pretty slow today. My body's pretty achy. And you might hear me. One of the things I noted when I've learned how to listen to my recordings is I lost the little foam pad on the bottom. Therefore, there's a purpose of that. And I have to go find out if I can get replacement pads. So maybe putting it out further will help that in the recording. Feeling your breath in the body as you lay and spend a moment in a position, it actually will restore you. Then switching sides with this, again, I'm going to put the block behind my back. I like that feeling. And then put one between my knees. And remember, you're going for, where is my intuition guiding me? Turn the head opposite the knees. And you're getting a full twist of the spine from the center of the skull between your ears, your first cervical vertebra. And you've got the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar spine. And then in the lumbar spine, you have that very interesting place, which is the sacrum. And as you're experiencing this twist, also evaluate where in your lower back, and if you can evaluate and actually identify anything about how and why that back feels tight. Breathe into it, take 5 breaths. Again, this is one of the processes that have come from deep study of the scientific study of restorative yoga. And I'd like to honor Iyengar, who was the kind of parent of this practice. A Hindu yogi who brought Iyengar yoga to the United States, to the West here. It's a very specific yoga, recognizing that placement of the skeleton in a very specific way helps the relaxation of the body and reestablishes the flow of energy in the body. Then releasing this twist and then grounding into the earth and pressing into and placing a block or cushion under the pelvis. Or if you really want more exercise today, going into the movement practice that we did Monday and Wednesday. So we're going to do this restorative practice today. And if you're on a chair or a bed or something, a bed is a little squishy, but you can still put something under there. And you can also have legs up the wall if you have the wall. And you put a blanket down or something to lift the pelvis up a little bit, and then the legs can go up magically. And legs up like this, whether you're on a block or cushion or whether your legs are up the wall is a little different because you get a little deeper stretch of the hamstrings, but you can still you can get a stretch of the hamstrings. If you have a strap nearby, you can always put it on top of the feet. We haven't done that leg stretch series for a while. If you, again, you know a lot of this, you can just be here for the guidance, and then you can take off and make sure you do whatever you want to do or what need to do. So right now I need to point and flex my feet. And I need to bring my pelvis off the floor and just feel what's going on there. I think I've worked pretty hard this week, and somehow my body is speaking to me. It needs something different. Now, when your legs are up either on the wall or like this, and you can always bend your knees over a chair. And it's kind of like legs up the wall without actually putting your legs up that high, but it releases the weight of the body, just becomes a different kind of pull from the energy of gravity. And that gravitational pull, oh boy, the science behind it at this point is profound as to what it does to the human body. And all of this energy that we're working with, the electromagnetic energy that we're working with everywhere. And then I just want to take note of the electromagnetic frequencies, the EMFs that come from all of our electronics all around us. And that if you're a sensitive like me, you might feel that. And there's a whole avenue of science right now that is studying how to protect our bodies from the extra EMFs that are coming from electronics. So I just want to mention that because it's kind of all over what's coming in on all the health podcasts that I subscribe to. Then your legs up here, flex and point and roll the ankles, roll the wrists. And then see if you can bring the arms out to the sides and just take a moment with the legs wide, and then bring them in, cross the ankles and open up the legs. Then cross the ankles and open up the legs. Breathing, relaxing. Lifting the pelvis like this usually is good for my lower back, but you're going to have to know what's good for your lower back. Pull the knees in, feel that. Place the feet back on the floor, feel that. It's much more relaxing. You'll see that it feels that way. Then if your sacrum allows you to, and you can get that sacroiliac joint, if you just move the knees side to side, you're going to do a little bit of massaging. You can hold on one side and feel that edge of the sacrum and the edge of that connection between the pelvis and that triangular piece that is the sacrum. And we worked with the sciatic nerve, and you'll feel this position, and you can feel that buttocks. You're relaxing that sciatica, that piriformis muscle. Well, it's actually four little muscles that come together. Sciatic nerve goes through those four muscles. Then lengthen out one leg and see if it's okay for you. Now, for some people, it's a lot more comfortable on a cushion. So you are deciding. Then lengthen out the other leg and see if that's okay for you. See if it feels good. If it feels like painful, then don't do it. Again, using a block or a cushion, and the cushions again are a lot softer. Especially, I have these almond-shaped cotton-filled yoga cushions, right? And I really encourage the firm cushion will serve you better than a squishy polyester-filled cushion. And then see if you feel good putting your legs out, which gives you a back bend. Now, the back bend puts the lower back into gentleness, but if this feels not so good, don't even go here. Go into even a lower posture on even a bed cushion, a squishy cushion or a couch cushion. But we won't stay there very long, not knowing what's going on at home there. And come out and then feel the release. Feel the release of it. Now, of course, a key to the lower back is also core strength. And it's partly, press into the floor and strengthen the back muscles. The buttocks muscles help hold that lower back up. And then it's also the ones where you press into the lower back and lift. We're not going to do very much. We don't have very much time. But exhale and exhale. Now, while you're going through this practice, see if you can recall or even ask the animal that came forward, if an animal came forward, or just see that animal with you. And it could be a plant, or it could be an insect. It could be a amphibian or a reptile, or whatever animal. Mine are all birds, hence my name. I was given at birth my name, which means bird. Didn't know it until I was 45. And then hold this posture, press into that lower back. If you haven't remembered to squeeze the pelvic floor, it just gives you a little bit more support for the whole thing, including the lower back. And then let it go. Pull the knees in. And then rock yourself up right onto your hands and knees. And because it just, to me, I have a kind of a chronic lower back issue. No one's been able to tell me what it is. Nobody has said that it's anything to treat. So I think lower backs can be a pretty big mystery. I think, I don't like to think about it, but I think if I could just not move at all for a week, maybe I would feel that something changes in there in my lower back. On the other hand, when I don't move, it hurts more. It gets stiffer. So kind of an interesting one. And sometimes people have this in the shoulders and neck where the same thing happens. Hold one direction. Take a few breaths here. Feel the stretch that the body makes with the breath. Then hold the other direction. Feel the stretch. And then again, we're going to do child, but we've studied child a lot. And some of you, it's not good for you. And you want to do a puppy stretch instead. If you can get all the way back there in child and breathe into the lower back, you're going to feel this expansion in the lower back. Breathe into it and feel the stretch from the breath. Puppy stretch is a little bit more forgiving. It puts that lower back into a slight curve by doing puppy stretch on the elbows. You can hold the head up with the block or your hands. So you can rest the neck and shoulders. And then if you want to do more, and I always give you this option because some of you want exercise. So you come back and you come up and you come back and you come up. Oh, this is a little stronger back bend into upward dog, but it's also, ooh, feels good. Inhale one direction. Exhale when you get there. Inhale back. Exhale when you get there. And you're kind of just always exploring. Then pausing, we're just going to come up for a moment to stretch the hamstrings a little bit by heel walk. Just because what we do in yoga, it's just what you should do again at the end of the day. If you can do it twice a day, or when you're out on a walk, pause for a moment to stretch the backs of the legs, then down onto the knees, and you're just going to come right down all the way onto your elbows. And we're going to do side to side to stretch the spine, side to side, look back at the heels. This is the Sphinx posture. And you might feel the stretches there as well. This also is a little back bend. And remember, you can take a cushion and have it hold you up. I'm not doing this. And for lower backs, it's really, I say you give yourself 10 minutes on your belly like this, or just come down all the way and turn your head to the side. This also puts the back into a neutral position. And you can take your hands and just sort of jiggle it. Now, also, the other thing about the lower back is if you can catch an ankle or a pants leg, stretch the quad. Take a couple of breaths, stretching that quad. Then and other side. And you're just breathing and being, and the lower back in the meantime is still loose. If you can catch both ankles. Those of you that want to, have a little exercise here. You turn the chin to the floor. We don't do this very often. And you try to open up the shoulders and bring your chest off the floor. And this is called the bow. We don't do it because it's kind of difficult. And it's not that, it's not like a relaxation for the lower back. It's using the back, so, and then you let it go and you windshield wiper the legs. This is a relaxation for the lower back. And then lengthening that out, bringing the elbows up, turning the head, and cerebral spinal fluid balancer. This too is all relaxation for the lower back, but also it's just interesting that in osteopathy, they discovered that this balances that cerebral spinal fluid. Doesn't take much. It's kind of reestablishing the rhythm. And then slow it down and roll right over onto your back. Ah. And then once you're on your back, for me, I just need to do something for my pelvis. So I'm going to do the thread the needle. And I know that we're at time. So if you want to just relax, it's more relaxing for the lower back to put the knees together and the feet are apart. And then if you need a little hip stretch like I do, I'm going to pull in to feel this. And this can be done again with a foot on a block or a foot on the wall, or you can just pull that leg in. Sometimes I like that better. You can have a foot on a cushion. I'll put my foot on the cushion this time. Now there is a little osteopathic treatment you can do by not pushing the hand, taking the right hand, not pushing it your knee away, but using the muscles of the legs to push it away and let it release. And using the muscles, engage the muscles of that, it's really into the buttocks too. You know, you can feel it all the way down there into the piriformis and down through the iliotibial band, and you push it away and then release. And that actually helps it to reset itself. It's called the muscle energy technique, MET. And then switch sides. Again, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm using the muscles to press that knee away towards the back wall there, the side wall. And then I'm releasing it and pressing away, release, press away. Take a breath, release. Now you can also evaluate both the hips here and see what's going on. Then just see if there's any other little things you need to do before you come into Shavasana, and allow yourself to come somehow into neutral. Or if you want to, like I want to, I just have it all ready to go so I can come into this delightful reclined goddess and just hold space for all the women. Part of what I studied yesterday with Sandra Ingerman is about being a sensitive, an HSP. She didn't really call it an HSP, but a highly sensitive person, which is a name in psychology at this point for a part of the population that is extra sensitive. And part of it that struck me was that it's okay to be a space holder. You know, you don't have to go out there and charge ahead, or you don't have to go out there and protest. You don't have to go out there and even give money to any organization. You don't have to go out there and support anything outside of your own space holding for a particular thing to change in the world. So as I'm expanding and changing my own heart, which seems to be a healing process continually as I heal the children inside of me, I hold space. And this one, whenever I get into this position, I hold space for all women. And our group here today, we hold space for all women. So imagine in your consciousness, bring in the women that you've known during these last 3 years in the circles that you've been in. in the places that you're active. And just connect us all. And connect us all with the vision of the new earth and of heart-brain coherence, of, of gratitude, appreciation, compassion, and caring, and of empowerment and healing all the old wounds that built up over eons of time for women around the world. And just see the new earth with the number of women that are becoming the leaders. And we see them come forward all the time, the strong women that are now in our own Congress. And how many more women are being hired in jobs that used to be just for men. Then bring your hands to your heart and hold that space there for women, but also for all beings. May we have peace, and may what we do here go out onto the world and make more peace. Peace, shalom, salam, pak shanti, pache, mir, maluhia, frieden, hang sang. Collecting the word for peace from around the world. May we have peace, and may what we do here go out onto the world and make more peace. And then relax that down. And if you are into this shoulder opening posture, lengthen out the legs and just see how that feels. This is also amazingly good for the lower back. If you see how it puts the lower back into a kind of different kind of position where it's tilted down and there's no strain on it. But you have to learn what strains your back. And if a yoga class like this, after it feels worse, then you know you've done a little too much. But you know all the tools to relaxing the lower back. When you roll over to your side and you come into fetal posture, and then you take out whatever support you had there, and you roll back onto Shavasana. Again, this may feel good to you, but it may feel better. And you have to practice. Legs out straight. Does that feel best? Or do feet wide and knees propped together feel best? Then coming up when you're ready, and you don't have to be ready yet, rolling over, walking up, remembering that we're mostly water. So when you come up, gravity is going to pull the water in your body in a different direction. And water has a plus and minus charge. What's so interesting is we are charged particles, really. And then onto hands and knees. And then this is the way I get up, but you have to find your own way up. Pressing into the back foot, coming to stand, and again, letting the body feel standing. Breathing and finding heel to toe, perhaps. So you really feel like you're back here on the earth. Inhale, exhale.